welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk about the ship Showdown. Now, this week is going to be the start of the ship Showdown, and it kind of happens in different phases. So this first phase is essentially going to be where the community has to post and share ships that they really like. Basically, if you like a ship, you go on social media or Spectrum, Reddit, anywhere, and you post about this ship, and CAG kind of goes over a lot of the most popular ships, and they come up with a top 16 roster. And then those top 16 ships go head to head in a knockout bracket until the best ship is essentially crowned the winner of the ship showdown. Now, CIG takes the top 4 ships from this bracket and they make skins for this ship. You can see an example of it right down here. You have the MSR, and then you have the Argo Cargo here that won 1 year. And so I want to start off this video by going over the past winners of the ship showdown, and then I want to go over some of the ships that I think would be interesting to see in the top 16. Okay, so you see that the ship showdown has really only been going on for 5 years. So this is going to be the 6th year of the ship showdown. Okay, and there are a lot of repeat winners in this list. So the first year we had the Hammerhead, the Cutlass Black, the Reclaimer, and the Caterpillar, which makes sense. Then we have, this was 2019. Then we have the Eclipse, the Cutlass Black, the Valkyrie, and the Carrack. The Carrack was very popular when it came out. This is 2020. Then we have 600i, the C2, the MSR, and the MPUV. This year there was kind of a bit of drama with the ship showdown because people wanted to highlight ships that weren't getting a lot of attention from CIG. And the Argo Cargo was kind of one of those situations where the community wanted to come together and say, hey, we want to make a statement, we want to make a stand, kind of to CIG, like, what are you going to do with those? What are you going to do with these ships? Okay, what is the intended gameplay loop? We want to see some progress with these ships, gameplay loops. So they kind of chose kind of an underdog ship to win this year, and that caused a lot of drama. It was a very interesting year. I think it made the ship showdown very interesting. Then the next year we had the Scorpius, the Pisces, the MSR, and the Carrack. Again, the Pisces was one of those ships that people wanted to see because kind of underutilized ship. CIG recently came out with the Pisces Rescue variant, which is a very useful ship, has a lot of good gameplay loops with medical. It's a very effective ship for its pricing game. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Then last year we had the 600i, the Redeemer, the Vulture, and the Corsair. The Redeemer was huge, obviously, because it has a lot of firepower. It's great for multi-crew. The Vulture, obviously, salvage in a Vulture, it is kind of the most valuable gameplay loops that you can play right now. Just about everyone should have a Vulture. The Corsair, of course, ton of pilot control, DPS, a lot of cargo. It is a beautiful ship. Just came out at that time for that year. And then, of course, the 600i Explorer. This is just an awesome ship. It is one of those ships, the largest soloable ship in my opinion. Is going to be very popular. But as you guys could see here, the Carrack has won twice, the MSR has won twice, the Cutlass Black has won twice, the 600i has won twice. So we have a lot of repeat ships on this list. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Corsair Vulture in the top 16 again. So I want to talk about the ships that I think would be interesting to be in the top 16. So give me a moment and let's switch over to that. Before we get into the ships that I think would be interesting to see in the top 16, I want to talk about some of the ships that don't have any skins at all. Basically, the paint job that they come with is all you get. So I've already seen people start campaigning for the Terrapin. The ship Showdown hasn't officially started yet, but I've seen on Spectrum and Reddit people talking about having the Terrapin in the top 16. And I think moving forward, just about every year, we're going to have at least one underdog pick. This is a ship that doesn't have its functionality fully implemented in the game yet, a ship that the community wants to vote for to kind of nudge CIG in a direction, because CIG has said in the past they don't really make skins or focus that much on ships that players don't use a lot. And so, especially after hearing CAG say that in, their more recent content, I feel like a lot of people are going to, vote on the Terrapin. They have in the past, but I believe that it lost out to, another ship. Then we have the Mullen. The Mullen is a snub ship. It comes with some of the Constellation series, and I think that uh a lot of people like it as a snub fighter, as a racer. I feel like it has the potential to be a fun ship. I see a lot of people using it. I don't see why it has no skins. It would be cool to see a skin for it. Then we have the 85X. It kind of makes sense that the 85X has no skins. It's not really used that much. It's kind of like a space car with two seats. Uh, it is a good ship to use in racing sometimes. Uh, I, I don't know. I think CIG probably aren't making any skins for this ship again because I don't think it's that popular in the game. Then we have the Mole. The Mole is a really interesting one because it has variants and it does have subscriber exclusive skins. And I think there was some promotional kinds of skins for it, but there are no readily available uh, skins in the store for it. But yes, there are subscriber skins for the Mole. But the Mole, to me, it's just kind of surprising that it doesn't have, regular skins in the store that just about anybody could buy because it's the largest mining ship right now. Then we have the F8C Lightning. This ship kind of just came out at the end of last year, so it kind of makes sense that, uh, it doesn't really have that much for it. But the F8C is a very popular ship. A lot of people do like and enjoy the ship. Um, I know that the Hornet has a lot of skins already, and so this is kind of like the Hornet's big brother to have no skins. I feel like it would be cool if we got maybe a black. I know there is an executive edition of this ship, so maybe that's why CAG is not too keen on making skins for it to kind of keep that a little bit more premium. But it would be cool. I don't know the color scheme for this year's Ship Showdown. It's one of those things that I I wish CIG would release the color schemes first. That way we can tell, okay, this ship would look good in this color. Like last year, the Vulture one, and the color was this kind of metallic purple. And the Vulture doesn't really look good with the metallic purple. I know some people do like it, but I feel like if we know what color it is, it'll kind of give us an idea what to vote on. But at the end of the day, I think CIG doesn't want that. I think they just want us to vote on our favorite ships, and then they'll release the colors later. Then we have the Gladiator. The Gladiator is kind of like, you know, see, this was the ship that CIG was talking about when they were talking about, they really don't worry about ships that aren't that popular. Gladiator is a really cool ship. Uh, you know, Pilot, gunner. It's just, I don't know. It's just not popular for whatever reason. Then we have the 890 jump. The 890 jump was in the ship showdown, I believe last year it was, but the problem is it went up against the 600i, and the 600i Explorer won because, of course, a lot of people like the 600i. The 890 jump is just like the giant space yacht. It is about extravagance. It is kind of unnecessary. But I mean, the A9 jump is still a great ship. It has a lot of shields. It has a good amount of DPS hangar. You can put a tank in there. It has room for all of your crew. I know a lot of people use this as org flagships. It is still a very popular ship in the game. It's kind of surprising it has absolutely no skins. I feel like CIG could, sell skins for this ship, and a lot of people would spend money on buying it. Okay, and so now we move over to the ships that I think would be interesting to see in the top 16. Okay, to start things off, a hover bike has never won uh, the the ship showdown, or made it into the top bracket. And the Pulse is a really interesting one. It just came out. It does have a lot of skins already, but it can fit in just about every ship. So I feel like this is one of those ground vehicles that just about everybody could use. It's also super cheap with real money, and it'll more than likely be super cheap in game. So I feel like this is a ship that everybody could really take advantage of. A hover bike that everyone could really take advantage of, from putting it in a starter ship like the Avenger Titan to anything you have like a C1. It being able to fit anywhere, I think, is a huge advantage, and it'd be interesting to see a skin for it. Then we have the STV. The STV, in my opinion, is one of the best ground vehicles in the game. It can fit two handheld boxes. It's got, space for your weapons on the side. You can go along with a buddy of yours. Um, it is relatively durable. The only problem is, again, the fact that there are no roads in the game. Uh, Kind of make it hard to really take advantage of, but it's a fun ground vehicle, and I think it's a very popular ground vehicle. A lot of people use it, a lot of people love it. It looks great. It's like a little, dune buggy type ground vehicle, and I know a lot of people like the Cyclone for that. But the STV has even more utility than the Cyclone. Then we have the ROC. Now, the ROC is the ground vehicle. It is mining. It has a lot of utility. Uh, you know, planet side vehicle mining isn't in a super great place. It's not in a terrible place, but there are obviously just more lucrative things that you can end up doing. But it is still, in my opinion, one of the most useful ground vehicles in the game. So I think it makes sense for it to be a contender in the top 16. Then we're moving on to the ships here. We have the F7C Hornet Mark II. Right now, it's just kind of, king of the castle. If it comes to PvP and combat, it just makes sense. It is the meta right now, and it may be the meta in the future as well, because it has so many hard points. It is pretty maneuverable and pretty durable as a medium fighter. So if you're comparing it to anything right now, it is probably, one of the most popular ships, especially in Arena Commander. So I think it makes sense for this to be in the top 16. Next is the Avenger Titan. The Avenger Titan, in my personal opinion, is the best starter ship in the game. If you want to take this game seriously, this is the ship I, recommend people get. Aside from the cutter is a good ship, but if you really want to take this game seriously, save your money. Don't buy a cutter. Just go straight for the Avenger. Wait for a sale, 60 something bucks. That's about the price of a game right now, and it's an MMO. Starts as an MMO. So in my opinion, this price point makes sense to get into the game. Again, at the end of the day, you can go for a cheaper option if you just want to get into the alpha and do zero to hero stuff. But if you want to play on a regular basis, you really want to enjoy the game, this is the ship I advise you get. And CAG rebounds the weapons, and the hard points on this ship have increased with gimbals. So this is actually a very dangerous ship in the game right now. So I think if you want to do, bunkers, outposts, space combat, atmospheric combat, there are a lot of different gameplay loops you could do. You could put a pulse in the back area, do a little bit of cargo box missions type stuff. Avenger Titan, I think, is that ship. Then we have the C8R. This is the Pisces Rescue. CIG changed respawning in the game. So now you can respawn in this ship. It is a respawn point. The Pisces has won before in the past. But I think that the R is going to be a very popular ship with a lot of people. And likewise, the Ursa medevac. I've already heard people start campaigning for the medevac already because it's a respawn point and it's a ground vehicle. So the likelihood of this being the first ground vehicle to ever win the ship showdown is, I think, probably higher than the RC, the STV, and the Pulse. Okay. Then we have the Freelancer. The Freelancer is in need of a lot of love. I know it's going to need to get reworked with, components and resource management type stuff. The Freelancer is a very versatile, great ship in its category. It is very competitive with the C1, especially if you get the Freelancer Max. I think, DPS, shields, maneuverability is not bad. I know people aren't always a fan of that letterbox windshield, but it's always been one of my favorite designs. I think, Miss makes really cool kind of space age designs. Uh, you know, Sometimes Misk is popular, sometimes they're not. Right now, I really don't know how to gauge their popularity with the community. I think people are just kind of waiting for them to get a full rework. Then we have the SRV. This is the tow truck of Star Citizen. Recently came out. It does have some skins, but I think it's kind of an interesting proposition. It's still kind of waiting on more gameplay loops though for missions to be able to tow ships to outposts or space stations and whatnot to get repaired. And I think for right now, it's kind of, not the most useful ship, but I think a lot of people do really like that it works. It works in game right now. You can move stuff around, like if you're in a salvage or whatnot, you can, maybe move certain ships. And I think CIG recently updated the way that works with armistice zones, so you can kind of clean up those areas. That is going to be a really good quality of life for this ship to be more useful. Then we have the Nomad. The Nomad, in my opinion, is probably the second best ship to get if you're starting off in Star Citizen. 24 SCU cargo, full interior, storage on the inside. It has good guns. It has good shields. Um, I wouldn't really use it for combat. If you're interested in combat, I would say get the Avenger Titan over the Nomad. But the Nomad, again, you can put an ROC in the back. You can put an STV in the back. Um, you have 24 SCU cargo in there. So the Nomad is a very useful ship. I'm kind of surprised it's never been high in the roster. And then I put the Sulin on this list because, believe it or not, an alien ship has never won the ship showdown. So I think the Sulin is kind of has one of the best alien designs that we've seen in the game right now. The interior, the way the chair goes up to the top, the way that it kind of transforms and flies around. It has three size three guns. It is not a slouch in that department. The cargo is kind of weird. You have to deal with one SCU boxes, but I think the design of this ship is really 10 out of 10. And I think a lot of people really like the Sulin. It would be cool to see it, get into the top four and people get a skin for the Sulin. Again, alien ship has never been in the top four. Then we have the Constellation Taurus. Constellation Ships has never won a ship showdown, which is amazing because Constellation is one of the most popular ships in the game. A lot of people love the Taurus. Taurus is kind of like the premier kind of medium cargo ship right now. It has good DPS, it has good shields. It doesn't handle great, but if you're cargo running, you're just kind of going from point A to point B. I think with the cargo refactor, this is going to be a very interesting ship as well because it has that elevator that makes it pretty easy. You just put everything on the elevator, send it up, and get out of there. I think the Constellation Taurus is definitely going to be an interesting one. I've also talked about people suggesting it, so people already campaigning for this ship. I think I would like to see it in the top 16. Then we have the Spirit C1. Spirit C1 is kind of a no-brainer, in my opinion. This is a very popular ship right now for people who want to have that daily driver. Is a lot of people's daily drivers. You can fit a ground vehicle inside. It's good DPS. Doesn't have the best shields, but it is relatively maneuverable. Not every people feel like it could be more maneuverable. I think that's pretty fair, but it is a fairly big ship. You kind of look at it in size with comparatively to some of these other ships. It's fairly large for its cargo capacity. I think a lot of people enjoy the C1. It's got a tracked beam on the back. I wouldn't be surprised to see it in the top 16. Then we have the Prospector. The Prospector has never won. It is kind of the entry level mining ship. Very popular. It's been very popular for a long time. If you're interested in mining, this is kind of the go-to for that solo gameplay experience. Again, it's one of those things where salvage is so profitable. With the Vulture, I feel like a lot of people would just kind of choose the Vulture over the Prospector, but I think the Prospector deserves some love as well. I think it would be cool to see it in the top 16. Then we have the Hull C. The Hull C is a extremely cool ship. This is a ship that we have been waiting for forever. Okay, people have been seeing this ship, and for the most part, this ship has been done for a long time. But CIG had a problem with the opening and closing arms for the cargo, and they finally got it. It's finally in the game. Its gameplay loop from station to station is not the best, and it is not going to be able to take advantage of the cargo refactor that's coming out in 3.24. But I think that this is just one of those ships that people might want to see CIG give some love to. I don't know. I feel like this ship is kind of in an interesting position right now. Then last on this list, I would say, is the Starfarer. The Starfarer is another one of those ships that I feel like definitely needs some love. It's never won the ship showdown. Its interior is kind of a maze. A lot of people talk about how CIG needs to, redo the interior. I kind of like that the inside is a maze, but it definitely needs to be reworked with components and resource management and stuff like that. It does work. You can refuel ships using it. You can buy different fuel pods and swap them on, stuff like that. It's a cool ship. I think it definitely needs some love. It would be interesting. It would be an interesting underdog choice for the top 16. So these are the 16 ships that I think would be interesting to see in the top 16. I also think it would definitely be interesting to see these ships in the top 16 again, because they don't have any skins, and I already know that people like them. People love the Lightning. People love the 8-9 jump. People absolutely adore the Terrapin. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the ship showdown? Do you guys want to make a statement with your vote this year? Let your voices be heard. What ships do you want to see win? What ships do you want to see get skins? Because part of it is what ship you love, and another part of it is you want to see skins for a ship and everything in between. So I really want to hear from you guys. Sound off in the comments down below. I love hearing from you guys. Love talking to you guys. I'm always down there in the comments, replying to all of the comments. Even if I don't reply to it, I see it. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Like I always say at the end of these videos, you guys, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Salud.